This was my favourite film back in the day. And this, behind me, behind those green screens, was the place where we used to knock about after hours, if you know what I mean. That used to be a massive nightclub. It was called Images, but our local guys used to call it Damages. I've had some great nights at this nightclub, but I've had some really shit ones. I've even got the scars to prove it, but that's a different story. And today I want to share with you a different story. This story started down this lane. Started right about here. It was 2 o'clock in the morning and the club kicked out and I had to get home. And my mum, she didn't live in town. She lived out in the sticks, which is about 6 miles, about a 6-mile journey. So walking was out the option. So I had to get a cab. So this is the way the taxi driver took me. It must have been about 2:15 at this time when we got to here. We're just passing my school. This is where things got really scary and things started to change. Because I said to the taxi driver, "Keep going, mate, we're about 3 or 4 miles away now." And he said this to me.
"I'm not taking you up there, I'm going to lose too much money, it's out of my way, you're going to have to get out here, mate."
And this wasn't an argument I was going to win. This was me, 2 o'clock in the morning or 2:15 in the morning. I was 16 years of age and this was super dark. It was so dark, I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. All it was the moonlight coming down and the wind blowing through these trees. Proper scared. You see, I had 2 options. Go this way, walk back into town, find a phone box, because back in them days we didn't have mobile phones, or keep going. Go into the dark and be a man and walk home. And this is the bit where I become super sober. Literally stone cold sober. This is what scared me. Going into this dark, and look, this is daylight now. We're looking at 2 o'clock now, and this is how dark it is. So you can imagine how dark it would be at 2:30 in the morning by this time. 2:30 in the morning, so dark. But do you know what was even more scary? The wind and an owl. All I could hear was this tweet-doo, tweet-doo, and the wind whistling through these trees. It was pretty eerie. Something didn't seem right around here. But it gets worse. It gets much worse. Every single horror movie was flashing through my head at the moment. Every single one. It. Nightmare on Elm Street. Halloween. It just wouldn't leave my head. And this is the bit where I literally shat my pants. This is the bottom of the hill, and at this point, everything went quiet. The wind stopped, the owls disappeared, and the temperature dropped, but here it dropped below. It was like sub-zero. Every hair on my body stood on end. Something didn't seem right. So I stood here for a little while and thought, do I go on? Do I walk up this hill? Do I walk into that? Me being big and brave? Yes, I did. I carried on walking. So as I reached the top of this hill, yeah, come with me. This up here stood a black lady. I say a black lady because she was dressed in a black gown, like the Scottish widow advert, you know, with the cape and stuff. And she come out of this bush right here, and she come across into the road, and she just stood right in the middle of this road. She stopped here, she stood still, and she looked at me, and literally there was no face. It was just black and this black gown. 16 years of age, I was literally frozen to the floor. Then she drifted into this field here. So come with me. I say she's a she because I don't know whether it's a he or a she, but it looked like a she to me. She drifted into that fence, through the gate, into that field. And literally, I ran like a whippet snake that way. Into a cornfield, into a ploughed field, and I ran my little socks off. Because there's a house behind us, I'm not going to show you that, but that weren't there. So I ran this way into a field. I have never ever been so scared in my entire life. Never. This is where I ran. I ran through this. Obviously there weren't no corn or anything in it. It was just a ploughed, dirty field. And I had my best shoes on as well. Because back in them days, you weren't allowed in nightclub unless you had trousers on and shoes on. So after I ran through the field, I was like bang, 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 banging on the door to my mum. Let me in, let me. I've seen a ghost. There's this woman there. She was dressed all in black, and it was like, oh my God, super scary, right? But mum sat me down and she goes, there is some truth behind this. In this field here, there was a hut. And over this side of the road, there was another hut. And the story goes, or the legend goes, that in this side there was a lady that lived on this side of the road and a man that lived on that side of the road. What they used to do, they used to cross and meet each other in the night. And the legend goes that literally they both died crossing this road. How true it is, I don't know. Oh, something bit my leg. But take a look at this. There is a hut here. It's not the hut. This is not the original hut. I remember this hut being built. But where this hut is, used to be an old barn. It was like an old, really small, wooden structured building. Proper spooky, right? Proper spooky. Ah! I don't know about you guys, whether you believe in ghosts or whether you don't believe in ghosts, but I know what I saw, I know how it felt, and I know that it sobered me up like super quick. I'm gonna leave it to you guys. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts? Don't you believe in ghosts? What do you believe in? Because in this field over here, there used to be a hut, and on this side of the road, there used to be a hut as well. And what used to happen is they used to meet in the middle, and they actually, the rumour goes, or the story goes, the legend goes, they actually got killed on the road. These two lovers meeting in the road were killed here. And here's one of the huts now.